This is called B Has a Troubled History. B has a troubled history. It was composed originally by a mad whaling captain. He drew half a circle on top of another half circle. He made them tangent and closed them with a line as straight as a harpoon. In the third grade, the letter B caused trouble when it became a stick figure of a fat woman sitting on a toilet. Then it predicted the future. Wine missing from the sacristy. Bob Boobaloo's penchant for being caught with the goods. Thank you.
Joe, hold on a second. So I'd like to ask the audience's patience now. I forgot to tell Alfred to record, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind repeating that first poem again, please. Because you're being recorded now. That's a beautiful
okay,
point.
For you, Jim. You know, when I was taking writing courses, every time I showed up in the classroom, the teacher canceled the class. So. Anniversary of her funeral. I look at two robes hanging in my closet. The brown plaid flannel is mine, and the blue cotton one belongs to my wife. Wearing mine, I walk through the rooms, and sometimes I miss her so much, I imagine her steeping her bedtime tea as we camped in the sequoia. She loved those nights, heavy with the decaying bark odor of the redwoods. In the morning, she appeared in her blue robe, surveying the wild ride, stiff with a dusting of frost. During spring, we camped in the desert, firelight reflecting in her brown-eyed gaze, and the scent of smoldering pine in her robe. Now it smells of tide, the pockets full with the memory of her hands pushed deep, fisted against the cold. Once I wrapped her bathrobe around my pillow. I held it like I hugged her in our tent as coyotes howled in the cottonwood. When I slip into her robe, I remember her arms sliding from its sleeves to hold me. It's no use to pack my sleeping bag, tent, or Coleman's stove. For now, we sleep out only in dreams, where memories drift like campfire smoke. After 30 years fighting cancer, she passed, and I think it's one thing to find a woman who will make love with you. It's another when a woman in a blue robe sits beside you every night for the rest of her life.
Joe Malash, give him some love, please. So I want to thank you for being patient with that. If you are on Zoom right now looking at this event that we're having for Black History Month, and we started the event with a moment of silence for the people in Turkey and also in what is it again? Syria. Thank you. Don't get old. And then we sang a song to honor them, and so we want to remember those people. But the people that are here today, I'm looking around the room, and the people that are here today are all very, very talented people. And it was important for me to let you hear Joe's first poem that he read before we recorded. And I think you'll find that when this is over, if you stay with us from 3 to 5 on Saturday, February 11th, you might feel your mood elevated from the talent that's in this room. And so I love doing this. This young man was the beat poet of San Diego. Then he was the beat poet of California. And then he was the international beat poet. And I think there's still more to come because he's an amazing writer. This is Chris Vanoy.
There's a line in this poem that I wrote. Started off to be a love poem. It's not really a love poem, but there's a line to touch you through the night that disappears as I disappear. That line has come to me to mean my reading for people. I come to you to read this poem for the night that disappears as we disappear out the door. Called Icarus Rising. There are no victories. Lie down with me on the cool grass. Let me stroke the ocean of your light skin as my lips sail from the beginning to the ending of you, then down into the harbor of your need. Like Icarus, we shall soar into desirous skies with the wind spinning us in its whispering dance. Our bodies fuse, two spots of white hot light pulsate in the night sky. But I cannot stay where this passion burns in me, minding the lessons that Icarus learned too late. I must fly before the morning's light, else our waxen bond will melt, reminding me that I am only here to touch you through the night that disappears as we disappear. No victories, only memories shall sleep, waiting in the moon's light. Actually, in my first book, a long time ago. The first book was printed by General Dynamics. New work. I turn on the TV every morning to find out if they have dropped the bomb yet. Satisfied, I listen to the national disasters, political sniping, and the latest incendiary and the latest incidences of gun violence and police brutality. By then, the coffee is ready, and it's time to write a poem.
Thank you, Chris. Andrew, are you reading poetry today, or are you just listening? Dan, I know you're here to read. Good to see you, young brother. Okay, so we're going to bring up a Navy veteran. We're glad to find out his grandson just got out of the service, and he's now a civilian. We always like his Facebook posts. He's always letting us know about art and different things. And he's a really good writer. This is David Legged Horse.
Thank you, Jim. So this is Black History Month, and I've been thinking a lot about Black musicians and songs that were part of my youth that I grew up with. So I decided to have a little quiz today. So I'm going to give you a line or two from a song, and I'd like you to tell me who the original artist or group was. Now the bad news is I can't sing. That doesn't bother me any, but it might not be so much fun for you. Okay, here we go. You always hurt the one you love, the one you shouldn't hurt at all. Do I have any hands? That's the Mills Brothers. How about this one? That old black magic has me in its spell. Old black magic that you need so well. No one? That was Billy Daniels. Anyone remember Billy Daniels? I had the joy of seeing him in concert in a little bitty Rainbow Room, Rockefeller Center, 30 floors up. And he joined us after this, so that was fun. Anyway, if I didn't care, would it be the same? Would my every prayer begin and end with just your name? No?
Let's try and see if it works.
That was the Ink Spots. And I think the Ink Spots were one of the best trios that ever lived, certainly in my life.
Yeah, they were
Okay,
great.
here's one. If I told you a lie, if I made you cry when I said goodbye, I'm sorry. Billy Eckstine.
It's going
You
way
gotta know
back.
this one. Broken-hearted melodies, must you keep reminding me of the lips I long to kiss and the love I'm missing? No, that's the divine Miss Sarah Vaughan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
These are all songs I grew up with. So that shows I'm pretty old, I guess. Folks, here's a story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a low-down hoochie coocher.
Cap Calloway.
Cab Calloway. Hey, we got Cab. A tisket, a tasket of brown and yellow baskets.
Ella
I
Fitzgerald.
sent a letter to my mommy. On the way I dropped it.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Yes. The first lady of song is Ella Fitzgerald. Unforgettable. That's what you are.
Nat. Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole. Yeah, couldn't forget Nat King Cole. This is a little dark song. Southern trees bear strange fruit.
Billy Holiday. Billy.
Billie Holiday. Lady Day, Miss
Lady
Billie
Day.
Holiday.
Yeah.
I'll finish the rest of it because think how brave this young lady was.
Oh, yeah.
When she recorded that. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. It's actually a poem that she or something. Incredible bravery to be recorded that. Only you can make the world seem bright. Only you can make the darkness.
Yeah.
You alone can thrill me like you do and fill my heart with love for only you. Just a little later, I was in high school. This is the Platters.
Yeah.
Gotta be one of the best groups ever.
Yeah.
Platters.
Platters. Yeah.
One of the best.
Okay, last one. Work all night on a drink of rum. Daylight come and
Oh,
go.
Harry Belafonte. Harry
Harry
Sick
Belafonte. Absolutely.
with 8
Okay, that's
foot
enough
one.
of quiz. You know,
Daylight come and
again, for
one go
Black
home.
History Month, I'd like to read this poem. It was written by Claude McKay, 1922. He is considered one of the founders of the Harlem Renaissance. And this is his poem, America. Although she feeds me bread of bitterness and sinks into my throat her tiger's tooth, stealing the breath of life, I will confess I love this culture hill that tests my youth. Her vigor flows like tides into my blood, giving me strength, erect against her hate. Her bigness sweeps my being like a flood. Yet, as a rebel king fronts a king in state, I stand within her walls with not a shred of terror, malice, not a word of cheer. Darkly, I gaze into the days ahead and see her might, granite wonders there beneath the touch of time's unerring hand, like priceless treasures sinking in the same. Claude McKay.
All right, help me try
Thanks for coming, David.
speaking now.
Let's try this again. Andrew, are you going to read today?
Fuck.
Well, we still don't have sound, but we got the sound thing plugged in now.
No, but
He was-
Andrew's
Yeah.
muted.
I don't know.
Okay, stay with us. We're working on it. 'Cause
I should.
we sure
Didn't
want to
hear you,
hear
I don't
you,
think.
but we sure want to hear Pam. That's a given. So we'll keep working
Can
on
you
it.
hear? Can you hear me, Jim?
Okay, I'm
Yep.
so glad this next poet came. I've been hearing about him since I moved to San Diego a long, long time ago. Hold on a second. All right, there you go. And so when he comes here, I get real happy. Don't forget, we have the artist table over here. And when we have the artist table, they bring in their books that they've published, and we ask you to support the artists. And there's probably about 5 different books from 5 different poets over there. If you have an announcement that you want to do after the feature, we usually do shout outs. We want to support the artist community here in San Diego. So let's bring up Ishmael von Hendrik Barnes. You can call him Ish, but don't call him late for dinner.
Call me Fitch.
That's as high as it goes.
I don't get that. Good evening. It's good to be here. In honor of, I guess, Valentine's Day, I thought I would read a love poem. And I wrote it when I was living in Cyprus. Called Political Affair.
Frank again?
I tried to leave because she can be cruel to women and children, unkind to the stranger she once was herself. Round corners, remote countries, there she was, looking out of starry eyes, waving wind. Stowed in my suitcase, carried over cloudy seas. Forced to admit, I couldn't help loving her, even when she forgot the immigrants stitched into my DNA. For better or worse, married to the memory that must be remembered. Because of her race, her deeper pockets, higher buildings, smarter machines, mountains of shiny accessories that divorce her from the indivisible mirror reflecting an undelineated world.
One more?
I don't know if I brought it. All the other ones I have are in other languages.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Let's give him some love,
Next time
please.
I'll bring
Thank you. Okay. Julio, count to 5 for us, please.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Will?
Yes.
Still not working.
Julio's not on mute.
You're not on mute. We can't hear you, but you're not on mute, right? I don't see the little
No.
red thing through his microphone. Thank you for being patient with us. We're trying.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, we're after the next vote, we'll bring Pam up. And so while he's doing that, I want to do a couple of shout outs. You're having your poetry event at the end of the month, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Can you make an announcement about that, please?
Or I was gonna announce it when I read.
Why don't we do it
Okay,
twice?
now?
Why don't we do it twice?
Okay, Sunday, last Sunday of the month, Poets of the Grove, Belleville Park, February 26th, 2 to 4. We're really easy to find near the intersection of
Try it again.
Quince and 6th Avenue. just north of the Laurel Street Bridge on the same side as lawn bowling. So that's the best directions I can give you.
Okay, we're ready, thank you. We're ready to see if this is working. Julio, can you count to 5, please?
Thank you, Alfred. I'm going to read two very short poems, one in Spanish and the other in English, as usual.
Let's build some of it. Let's build into it somewhere.
La magia del poema.
He's not coming through the speaker.
No, I can hear him.
Oh, no, but he's not coming. I think it's right here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Marítima la hora era en el litoral en calma de aquel tiempo. Amable un mar cantaba al relatar su historia de conquistas y aguas puras desde el fondo de su océano. Ese mar cantaba bajo un sol espléndido y su cantar traía desnuda la magia fresca de un poema. En su estribillo, cuyo eco aún se escucha, las olas decían sí y no a los escarceos de las miradas. The magic of the poem. The hour was maritime on the calm shore of that time. An amiable sea was singing, telling its tale of conquest and pure waters from its deep ocean floor. That sang under splendid sun, and its song brought the naked cool magic of a poem. In its refrain, whose echo can still be heard, the waves would say yes and no to the whitecaps of the gaze. Profesora Holke. Hay un ángel vivo en la sonrisa de Billy. Brilla su alma cuando ríe y de pronto el instante mismo se ilumina. Con la gracia del aire y la luz amantísima, ya sean ahora dichas las gracias. De otros mundos viene Billy, pero hoy se va para darse. Profesora aquí. There is an angel alive in the smile of Billy. Her soul shines when she laughs, and suddenly that very instant is filled with light. With the grace of a breeze and ever-loving light, let us now say thanks. Billy is otherworldly, but today she lives in order to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. Are you ready for our feature now?
Yeah.
That's all the energy
Thank
you have for her?
you.
She's in Los Angeles?
Thank you, Julio.
I'm wearing that one out, aren't I?
Thank
Los
you.
Angeles native Pam Ward's first novel, Want Some, Get Some, Kensington Chronicles, LA after the 92 riots. Her second novel, Bad Girls Burn Slow, lifts the lid on the funeral business. She is a UCLA graduate, a California Arts Council Fellow, a New Letters Literary Award winner, a Pushcart nominee for poetry, and has received a Diva Award for community service. Pam operates a design studio, mentors students, and runs the community press, Short Dress Press. Merging writing and graphics, Pam produced the interactive show My Life, LA, the Los Angeles Legacy Project, documenting Black Angelinos in poster stories. Her multimedia poetry performance, I Didn't Survive Slavery for This, examines life post-emancipation and features LA's fiercest female voices. Pam recently completed her fourth novel, I'll Get You, My Pretty, a true story of her Black working girl aunt's dalliance with a white notorious Dr. Black Dahlia suspect. And you can find her at www.pmwardwriter.com. And when she's finished reading her poems, I'll have information for you. And we'll also put it on the chat about how you can order her books and more about her website. This is the very productive Pam Ward. Welcome.
Oh my God, that was like blah, 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 blah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's so wonderful. It's amazing that that bio sounds like real stuff. But I tell people I'm just a shit talker. And so that said, here's a poem called Here is Something I Can't Understand. It's for Trayvon Martin with respect to Cypress Hill. Here is something I can't understand. How Zimmerman can kill a man. I'm just walking home from the store. Crazy ass starts a civil war. Hoodies on because the street is chill. 17 trying to get some Skittles. But here is something I can't understand. How Zimmerman could kill a man. Crazy ass thinks black skin is whack. Calls the cops, they tell him stand back. Girlfriend tells me to run away. Hell no, I say, I ain't afraid. But here is something I can't understand. How Zimmerman could kill a man. Beg and scream for him to let me be. Daddy lives in the community. Try to fight when I hear blam, blam. And Zimmerman just killed me, man. And Zimmerman just killed me, man. And Zimmerman just killed me, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this poem is called Say Her Name, and it's for all the little bossy Karens in the world. We used to call her Miss Ann. Some call her Becky, a bossy little cuss who tossed shoes at our head, the kind of hatchet face who sold us downriver. Today we say Karen with a capital KKK. These fraudulent little cunts pop up once a week, demanding to see the manager, flapping antebellum tongues with their fake tears, fake traumatized Avon lies, igniting hate crimes as wide as all 50 states, till no man with a suntan was safe. Karens call the cops at the drop of a hat. Black kids selling lemonade, or jogging down the street, or bird watching alone in a park. On a lark, 'cause she crazy, or got Cro-Magnum jeans. Here she go tattling, wagging that finger, weaponizing her pussy again, pushing that white privilege stank all up in your face, getting us lynched, tarred, or feathered, or burnt at the stake, all while feigning some fake ass distress. Don't believe me? Here's some Karenish shit for your ass. Carolyn Bryant had Emmett Till killed. Susan Smith said a black man did it. Scottsboro boys were almost lynched by a lying-ass trick. And did I mention the Central Park kids? Some Karens have gone on to obliterate towns. Somebody say Tulsa. Somebody say Rosewood, please. See her muddy little feet? Hear those crocodile tears? There goes Karen playing the same role again, going for another Academy Award. And wait, stop complaining. Stop saying you hate the name. If Karen's the real victim, then go ahead, flip the script. How many black chicks call the cops and send white women to prison? Go ahead, Cinderella. I'm waiting. The Karen moniker marks a legacy of predatory terror. So if the shoe fits, then wear it. Thank you. I can't hear you, so I have to assume that you are in the room. So this poem, where is it? Oh my God. I don't know. I have some cousins that are related to Thomas Jefferson. And but before I read that, the economy's going bad and people are really struggling. So These are to my homies that are really just trying to get over and put some food on the table. Poor reception. Before life became static, before TV sets that never turned off, before Jim Beam nights with the 6 o'clock news, you snoozing off with the sports page, the want ads asleep in your lap while your shot glass stayed wide awake. Before layoffs and cutbacks and 9-to-5 clean-shaven days became beards and your uniform turned to pajamas, where you sat in dim rooms with a full concrete view of the broken glass still life of alleys, where your kids blistered wearing their way too small shoes, the food stamps that came but just never quite made it, and it all made you just want to drink yourself blind. Before then, when you worked, way before all the storms, when the whole world was warm and felt summertime good, and Friday's paycheck felt like God, and your pockets had dreams that could cha-cha at night, and life never blurred or got fuzzy from static. Back then, the reception was good. Thank you very much. Oh, I hear a little click, 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 clack, clack. So my cousins are descendants of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. So when I tell people, when they say, when did you come here? I'm like, we were here at the beginning. All right, when did you get here? You got here last week. We were here with the Mayflower. Anyway, for the yellow children of Monticello. Before Roosevelt, way before JFK, before Clinton claimed I did not have sex on TV, before Monica Lewinsky tripped out and forgot to wash that dress, Thomas Jefferson was banging out tots like a fiend, making a banquet out of Sally Hemings' body. He created more kids than he could track. Jefferson kept his Black children under lock and key, all while singing, "Oh, say, can you see?" All his pickaninnies, tall and skinny, looked exactly like him, and nobody blinked. Nobody batted a lash, seeing these yellow children of Monticello springing everywhere like weeds. They heard Thomas's cry for freedom turn to bedroom deceits. They watched their father, a boll weevil, feast on fresh draws like a cotton gin, separating seats. And they realized he would never set them free. They read the Declaration of Independence. They waited for a harmony of coughs. They watched this apostle of the Constitution and willed bronchitis to drum his lungs. They sang hymns to bring on fever, yearned for heart attacks and strokes, anything to take his last breath. But Jefferson lived and lived and lived and lived and lived and lived. He did. The motherfucker lived to be about 90 something. We hold these truths to be self-evident, he said. For his yellow kids, this was just a long-winded speech. People applauded. People lauded him a saint. People ignored his children in chains. Only when slavery began its swan dance, unraveling like a hymn, did Jefferson finally relent. At last, on his deathbed, before he peacefully died in his sleep, Jefferson and Sally Hemings' kids were finally released. But wait a minute, stop the presses. Maybe it didn't happen like that at all. Maybe Sally was fed up with all the laundry, sex, and lies. Sick of the broken promises, maybe Sally finally snapped like an overseer whipping a child's back. Maybe Sally had to go all Monica on them all. She wouldn't be the first to topple a president. Plantation life takes its toll. So maybe Sally took out Jefferson herself, having that one final pillow talk at last. Thank you. Just a little spin on history, and we don't know. We don't know. So LA is wild. I'm a native from Los Angeles, grew up on Crenshaw and Slauson, right where the marathon continues, where Nipsey Hussle got his little flow on a few years later. And there's a lot of aggression in the road. And I wrote this poem after one of those incidents. I call this Car Fight 59. I like LA, particularly the car racing in residential areas. The last one was with this obnoxious slob in a white gloss Benz. Cut me off big time. Him and a fat cigar and Barbie bitch glued to his lap. Passed me with one hand. I had to brake so hard, my groceries wrecked the back seat. It really pissed me off, but I got back next to him and blasted the most ghetto rap tape I had. Slid all the windows down, started bombing too, like I gave a fuck, acting oblivious to his dog-faced mug and stuck-up date. I waited in the right lane, foot hovering the gas like a crook, ready to smash it down the second that sucker went green. Wasn't even where I wanted to go. But sometimes you got to show folks, let them know that we all own these streets, even if it means taking in extra scenery. Thank you very much. I'll read one more poem before I go. Okay, so I've impersonated the mayor's wife, LAPD, reporters for the LA Times. And this poem was actually published in the LA Times at the same time they sent me a cease and desist letter for writing this little fake article. But anyway, okay, so this is called Sunflower Seeds, and it's for Marlene. I stole a sunflower plant in front of a police station today. A wild, screaming yellow stalk fighting a bed of angry weeds. I snatched it in broad daylight, yanked the root with my hand, grabbed it like it was already mine, carrying it boldly, carrying it royally, like a golden precious staff or a stick or a baton, like the kind slammed on Rodney's spine. I marched down the street in a single lady parade, daring somebody to stop me. I took my sunflower home and planted it in my yard, near the barely hanging on broccoli, near the sad and strip search beets, near the carrots that came out of nowhere. I buried it thinking about my son and how he liked salty black and white seeds, and how his speeding ticket could have turned ugly when we picked him up that night if the officer wanted to trip. I buried the plant with some poems, some that didn't amount to much, something about waterboarding and Zimmerman whipping ass again. But my first thought when I saw it was the homeless lady Marlene, laid out on the freeway, flat on her back, weather-beaten and wilted, shielding fist after fist, getting stole on, getting pummeled, right and left hooks to the jaw, with him riding her stomach, riding her gut like a horse, hitting her over and over again in the face, like his uniform transformed him, like he was a king, trampling a black woman like dirt, like mud underneath his feet. And I thought, this lady could be my own mother, my sister, or me. So naturally, when I saw the flower, I rescued it from the police, because sometimes you just have to march up to power. Sometimes you just have to combat the weeds. Sometimes you just have to snatch back what's yours, even if it's just a flower or a rock in the street, growing like a riot in the palm of your hand. Thank you very much. Between good men and no man at all. Get the book, Black History Month. And listen, one more thing, writers and poets. Would you tell your own damn stories? People are out there pilfering stuff whoever gets to first base first is how this works. So don't share all your work with everybody. A lot of times this stuff gets snatched. Write it down. I don't care if it's a poem or a paragraph or a sentence. Write it down and put your name on it. All right. Stay blessed, everybody, and stay well. Thank you.
That's Pam Ward. We give her some more love, please. You can't hear it, but they're clapping.
Thank you.
And you're very welcome. And so what happened was we were supposed to be here tomorrow, and they're going to do a Super Bowl party here tomorrow. And so Hiram, who is the director of CLI, who published some of her poems, he has his wedding anniversary today. So we said, yeah, well, you don't want to miss your wedding. No, I didn't say that. So anyway, he was not available, and she just stepped in, and we thank you so much for Black History Month. Those poems are just perfect. You're a voice for the voiceless, and could we give her some more love, please? That's Pam Ward.
Thank you. I also want to tell you to support Black presses. Support the World Stage Press.
I'm sorry,
it's a small press.
Start over, please.
Oh, I said support small presses like the World Stage Press. They publish like 30 books a year, and it's a great website. It's a great opportunity to get your work done, and they have a library called the Sims Library. There's a lot of stuff going on, so just Google Sims Library and World Stage Press and get your work out there. I want to read it.
All right, thank you very much. So, as I was starting to say, this gentleman right here, his name is Jimmy Collins. There's a painting right over here. If you've never been in here before, he did that. This is one of his prints. And he approached me in 2010 and said, let's start this thing. I said, no, I don't want to deal with all those personalities. He said, look, we're hungry for community. So we have this little village here today that you're a part of, and you'll always be a part of it if you want to be. And so he said, I have one condition. And I said, what's that? And he said that this open mic needs to be at a Black run business. And I said, I don't have a problem with that. So you can't see him, but over there, the guy that fixed this video for us, or audio for us, is Frank Moody, 20-year Air Force veteran. Can we give Frank some love, please? Because he always makes us feel like family. Very important part of this. And so if you Google Los Angeles poet Pam Ward, her website will come up for you, and then also a way you can order her books. And if she was here in person, she would have brought some books, but we sure didn't want her to drive down from LA at the last second. So we thank her for coming here on soon. Excuse me. Monday, February 13th, there's a flyer over there on the table. It's How We Say It. And it's an online free veterans poetry workshop for California veterans, for deported veterans. And these are brothers and sisters who fought for our country and came back and maybe got a misdemeanor, or they got in some kind of trouble and they deported them. They were told if they signed up for our military, they would be granted citizenship. Instead, they've been deported. Their families are here in the United States. And I'm hoping on my podcast, Joe and I both have a podcast now. My podcast is called Make Good Trouble. We're hoping to get some of those veterans on the podcast so we can make their story more visible, and we can bring them back to the nation that they fought for. And also, Deborah, can you come up here and do a little announcement, please, so the people on Zoom can hear you? One more time. Don't fall. I always fall when I'm around her. 3 times now, huh?
Yeah. Okay, Zoom, not Zoom, what am I thinking of? Okay, Poets at the Grove, Sunday, February 26th, 2 to 4. It's actually at the Cypress Grove picnic area. That's where it is.
Okay. What time?
2 to 4.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And so Dan Watman also has an announcement I'd like him to do. So would you amplify, Dan?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Jim, for the space to make the announcement. Those who just a little background. Those who don't know, there's a park at the border called Friendship Park, where people can come together and make friends across the border. And that was the original intention when it was inaugurated 50 years ago. And since then, it's become more and more militarized. And I work with a group that's trying to reopen the park and take down the walls and create a truly binational park. I'm the coordinator for the Binational Friendship Garden of Native Plants, which is inside the park. And Border Patrol for the last 3 years now has been trying to replace the walls that are in the middle of the park. There's two 18-foot walls that go through the middle of the park, and they want to replace them with 30-foot walls. We were able to stop them. Well, Joe Biden in 2021 stopped all wall construction, paused it, and in the first day of office. So that saved the park, or saved it from more militarization. And then supposedly it was supposed to be reevaluated. And then in July of last year, Border Patrol came back with the same proposal that Trump had. And they were going to build the 30-foot walls to the middle of the park. And we managed to create a huge campaign to stop it. And they paused it again for community input. Everyone, including all the local legislators that have Friendship Park in their district, came out strongly against these 30-foot walls going through the middle of the park. And then a month ago, almost on January 17th, Border Patrol came back and said, we're building a 30-foot wall, two 30-foot walls through the middle of the park. And so the only concession they made is that one small section will be at 18 feet, which doesn't really help at all. And so we're calling for action to try and stop these walls. We have a petition out. We have a protest. We have several protests lined up. We have one tomorrow at Border Patrol headquarters in San Diego. Please come out. It's at not tomorrow, sorry, Monday at Border Patrol headquarters for Valentine's Day. We're going to deliver a heart to Border Patrol, like a huge Valentine's card with a heart trying to give Border Patrol a heart and not build walls through the middle of Friendship Park. And we'll have a series of actions that people can take. We meet every Sunday at Southwest High School in San Isidro to make more plans to organize. So you can come any Sunday at 11:30 to meet us there. And friendshippark.org is where you can find more information. I'll put it in the chat. Thanks again for the space.
Very good.
So now you know why I wanted Joe to read that poem again when we got the Zoom stuff working. Alfred, who just has completely changed my life in so many ways, when he's going to stay afterwards and he's going to make sure that we save this recording, and then he's going to take it home and he's going to get it ready for the internet. So everybody that's reading today, the announcements, Pam, you're going to be on the internet, and we make this countering of hate and ignorance more visible. And Joe and I made a commitment a couple of years ago that we miss Jimmy's voice. That's why we want to always remember him, because he was all social justice. One time he came back from Africa, and there was a thing called at Claire de Lune's restaurant. There was a poetry reading, and everybody went there on Tuesday night. Everybody went there. And we were getting some tea together, and he told me about going to the place where the slaves were taken out of the dungeon in chains and put on the ships for the Middle Passage. And he was telling me about going down this circular pathway, wide pathway, because they were chained across, 8 across, 10 across. And he was talking about going down the same, to the bottom and then coming up the same passageways. And he started to weep, just weep. And I just embraced him and held him. And we just were very, very close after that. And so we want to always remember critical race theory isn't about making anybody feel guilty. The people that are alive now didn't do that, but we want to remember that legacy so it doesn't happen again. And with some of the politicians going on right now, I think they want to recreate some of that. Sue Taylor has a show, a radio show called Electric Picnic that I would like her to tell you about right now.
Hi, everybody. You may have heard of KNSJ 89.1 FM. People powered, it's an all volunteer radio station. And the SJ represents social justice, most of the concerns of the programmers, the music, other DJs. Social justice is always at the front of their minds. So my show runs weekly. It's an hour show, and I have the privilege of interviewing and hearing the poetry of guest poets, spoken word artists, writers of prose. Chris Vanoy has been on the show, Joe Malash, Jim Moreno, Deborah Ramos, and I see some new faces today that I would like. Please give me your telephone number, your email address. It's very easy to record. We just send you a Zoom link, and you talk for about 55 minutes, and then I do a little bit to fill in the last 5 minutes, and it's really fun. Time goes by quickly. So I'd like to see some of you afterwards today before you leave. If you would give me a contact if you'd like to be on the show. It'd be my privilege to have you on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. So I got a phone call this morning from Elise Smith Cooper, and she is an amazing storyteller in the Black Storytellers organization. And she wanted me to let you know about her blog. It's called The Oncoming Dawn, hosted by the Golden Brown Fairy Godmother. Doesn't that make you just smile a little bit? Just a little bit? A platform for the truth and process of overcoming today's struggles with mental stability. She was supposed to be here today. I don't see her up there, but I'm glad that you got to hear some of these things that are happening so we can all stay connected. You have any announcements you want to make about, can we sing happy birthday to you early? How many years?
60.
60-year birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alfred. Happy birthday
to you.
and many more. All right, come on, give him a hand. Yeah, he's such a neat guy. Okay, I think we're ready to continue on. You ready for some more poetry? David is. All right, so where are we on this? Oh, we have our singer who's going to come up here. Would you come up and hold this for me, and I'll fix this microphone up for you? This is Alistair. This is Alistair McLeod. Could you, McLeod, could you give him some love, please?
If you could read my mind now, what a tale my thoughts would tell. Anybody know that?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Gordon Lightfoot. All right. I never fit into the mold here, so this is all over the place, but you're all used to that. So, very short poem, which will lead into some thoughts. If in sadness there were greatness, then I could build a pyramid of woe. For I exist while disbelieving that in human form I go. I want to speak to you this afternoon about disconnection, severance, the disintegration of community and meaning. I've been seeing, and the critics have been raving about films which some of you may or may not have seen. Tar, The Banshees of Inisherin, After Sun. These are movies that have deep, deep pain in them. And they communicate to me that we don't know anybody. We don't know our friends. We don't know our spouses. We don't know our parents. We don't know our children. We don't know ourselves. We're all grieving. We're all always saying goodbye. These are films by great artists, people who know the unconscious rhythms of the age. Ezra Pound called such people the antennae of the race. What is it that these filmmakers are sensing? What is it they're telling us in their own inscrutable language, speaking not to our brains, but to our hearts? If we have the wit to listen. I believe they're speaking of loss, loss of connection, loss of community, loss of meaning. I believe they are heralding an apocalypse, but not the end of the world, not the end of time, but only of the world we think we know. Something new is coming. It must. I found myself wondering about songs like Ian and Sylvia's Four Strong Winds or John Denver's Leaving on a Jet Plane. Did you know John Denver wrote Leaving on a Jet Plane? I thought it was Peter Paul and Mary. They made it famous, but John Denver wrote it. What is it about those songs that make them so deeply evocative? I don't think they're just romantic ballads. I think they're about saying goodbye in a much grander way. That's why they resonate year after year after year. And so I'm going to sing to you Four Strong Winds in that spirit as a meditation on saying farewell. Four strong winds that blow lonely, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. But our good times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you if I'm ever back this way. Think I'll go out to Alberta. Weather's good there in the fall. I got some friends that I can go to working for. Still, I wish you'd change your mind if I asked you one more time. But we've been through that 100 times or more. Four strong winds that blow lonely, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. But our good times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you if I'm ever back this way. If I get there before the snow flies and things are looking good, you could meet me if I sent you down the fair. But by then it would be winter. There ain't too much for you to do. And those winds, they sure blow cold way out there. Four strong winds that blow lonely, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. But our good times are all gone now, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you if I'm ever back this way. Before I leave the mic, I want to express my appreciation for Alfred and Jim and Frank for their enormous patience and perseverance in getting that thing working. I'm afraid I wasn't so patient, but they did a job. They made it happen.
Thank you, all. Skip.
Deborah Ramos has accompanied me on several social justice events that helped Dan. We went down to Friendship Park and nobody showed up. We found out someone had a stroke or some kind of thing, had to go to the hospital. And we decided that let's go over to the seawall and we'll read to honor the people who were supposed to be here today to fight the Border Patrol militarizing the border. And so we did that. And then she came to the Border Patrol headquarters and read her poetry. And then we did a silent march around the building, because Dan Watman is all about friendship that can, and respect that can strengthen borders instead of militarization. And she helped us to be a voice for that. So I'm really proud to announce that Deborah Ramos is coming to the mic right now.
Deborah with an H. It's Deborah with an H, the biblical Deborah. I think this is good, yeah. Okay. It's not glorious, this space between 65 and the unknown. The seasons of me have shifted. Eyes, the color of summer's faded grass. Hair, silver ropes of braided wisdom. Hands, glaciers of calcium push across knuckles. Sex, cerque de amor launches muscles into spasms and leg cramps for days. We're not 50 anymore. I sleep between cats, fits of insomnia, and Google ocean sounds. CBD gummies make it worse, sinking into rabbit holes of paranoia. I am the old lady counting change while people tap their feet in line. I drink wine and binge Netflix in glorious solitude. The walls of my woman heart wear thin. The chamber fills, empties, urges me to arrive, meditate with yin yang breath. I would do more yoga, but it makes me nauseous. After 4 decades of moon times, the sacred lunar sundance, my magic is now deeply hidden within the universe of my womb. When the earth calls to me, my children will sing me to the other side until I pour into the new sky above the flat line of an orange horizon. Yeah.
Wow.
Don't forget the poetry event on the 26th.
Yep.
That she is the host of down at Balboa Park. Hope you'll show up for that. Before we recorded, I read this poem by a student of mine. I'd like to read it again for you. This is by Adam. My poetry teacher values me. It's the name of the poem. Sunday morning and music was playing. People were having fun, but I wasn't, until a poet who was more of an artist approached. He took away the boredom and used it to paint a picture, but he had no colors, no paints or markers, but he had a muse. First thought was I was his muse, that I was just another example for his to use. This wasn't what he did. I was no muse for him to paint and create his own, but no paint or color came upon me. I wasn't a muse or an example. Instead, to him, I was inspiration. And to me, he became my teacher. He didn't teach me anything, but instead, he was a key, a key. He unlocked my brain. He freed my heart. And then he gave me the key. He gave me a piece of paper and a pencil. He told me those can adapt thoughts and feelings into art and power. He was able to read these emotions and feel them. He looked at me, not of just a look of awe, but another look. And from that look, I know my poetry teacher values me. For he is here right now, the young man that wrote that poem. Adam, why don't you come up and read a couple of poems for us? Can we give him some love, please?
This is a poem I wrote last night. I call it Cyclone. Trapped in a cyclone of sadness. I don't know if it's love or lust I'm feeling. All I know for sure is I want her. I hear her voice whenever I think. Every piercing moment silence reveals. A part of her stays with me forever. My only goal is to make her happy. But each attempt seems to pull us apart. Doing nothing does the same. It's as if someone was pulling my heart from my chest. The tears are the marker tracing my pencil smile, quick to erase, unable to wipe away. Scars on my body, but the ones that hurt the most are the ones I can see on my cheek. Invisible to others, but to me, I see every streak. Etched into my skin, burned into my faces. I cry tears that feel like fire, unsure of what to do. My heart tells me to keep trying. My brain's voice is muffled from the dark clouds that surround it. Sick to my stomach, and I ask the question, when will the cyclone stop, if it ever will? So, little about me. I suffer from mental health, depression, anxiety, stuff like this. And a lot of people like to describe my kind of people as crazy. And so I decided to use this and to explain a little bit more. This one is called Crazy. They say mental health is curable and it's treatable, but you cure diseases and you treat sickness and wounds. Stop. Calmness. They say anxiety makes you crazy. They say depression makes you weird. Calm. Stop. Repeat. I'm the wielder of a plague-like disease that I possess in my brain. Breathe. In, out. Repeat. They say people with mental health are different, that we aren't normal. Remember who loves you. Remember who you love. They say we have sick brains. They say our brains aren't healthy. Count to 10. Breathe. In, out. Repeat. They label us differently from the normal people. But what if to us, we are the normal ones? Play a song, play another. What do we feel safest with those brains aren't normal? Tell yourself that you are perfect. What if the psychotic and mentally unstable are those who have a better view of life? I love me, and that's all that matters. Repeat. Maybe the broken can appreciate the broken side of life and love the unbroken side even more. It's not worth it. Repeat. Maybe we aren't the sick ones. Maybe it's really everyone else who is.
Yes, I do.
Have a good teacher.
I just made it safe for him to write. He was born with this.
Yeah.
So there's two poems. One describes both sides of the genders. This first one is about men, how we have the complexity that we have to be tough through our life. That from childbirth, from being a little kid, we were born to be the tough one. So this one I call Boys Don't Cry. When I was a boy, my dad took me. He got a knife, and after he gave me a mask. I had a smiley face on it. It made me happy. When I got my first girlfriend, I was so happy, but then she cheated. I wanted to be sad, but I just looked at the mask, and I got happy. One day, I was playing with my dog. He's the cutest. And so he went a little too far in the street. He gets hit by a car. It breaks my heart. I want to cry, but I look at the mask. My eyes hurt, but I see the smile, and I smile. It makes me happy. My mom went to the liquor store. She got me snacks. I love my mom, and she loves me. Someone goes in after her. I hear yelling, and then a gunshot. Someone fired. Someone tried robbing the store. They killed my mom. As I saw her lifeless body laying there, I felt the pain. The blood started falling. I wanted to give up, but I saw the mask. It smiled. It doesn't make me happy. I get my girlfriend pregnant. I'm taken to the hospital. Lights. Darkness. I wake up in the hospital. I look for her. The nurse said we got hit by a truck. I'm the only survivor. The pain gets intense and blood starts pouring. I get up and go to the bathroom. I take off the mask. Blood soaked into where the eyes of the mask are. I look and see the smile my dad carved into me when I was younger, set to be a reminder that boys don't cry. One more. This one is about the female perspective of living life as in living it objectified, having to feel like they need to please the masses and what other people want of them, especially with this generation. I call this one Trapped. Morning bursts and a breath of fresh air comes, but this prison is still here. She gets out of bed and looks in the mirror. She sees who she is, but who is she supposed to be? Innocent in her own eyes, knowing she's a good girl at heart, to others, she's seen as just an object. The people who think they are more powerful talk down to her, beat, and abuse her for their satisfaction. She knows she's more than what they do or say, but she isn't sure. She is powerful by herself, but people try to tell her it's a weakness. Ashamed to have this power because others tell her it's disgusting. Behind her back, they talk about how they want her. She walks around as a prisoner. She looks in the mirror. She sees the prison she's trapped in. She's doing a life sentence, and her only crime is being a woman.
He was just in 2 classes with me. And at the end of the first class, I was really happy with what he wrote. It was really good. And then I said, would you like a prompt for next week? And he said, okay. And I said, here's your prompt. My poetry teacher values me. I am valuable. And then you just heard what he wrote from that. So we give him some more love, please. If you drop out of school, I'm going to cry.
I graduated.
All right. All right. That's good. I forgot you told me. Cool. Is Brandon Flowers in here right now? Would you come up to the stage, please? He has a quick announcement he wants to make for you. And it has something to do with this wall. Thank you, sir.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, thank you, sir.
So my name is Brandon Flowers. I'm a local artist with Southeast Art Team. And currently I have an exhibit called Black Gold right here, based upon lesser known figures in the Black culture and a lot of regal art, you know, to do with the Kemetic system, the Egyptian Ennead, if you guys know what that is. And on February 15th, we will be over here having a wine tasting from 6 to 9, and I'll be doing a meet and greet explaining more of my art. And I also have some other art that I'm going to introduce on that day. So if you guys are free, feel free to come through for some wine tasting and some culture this month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Black History Month. We got to do this kind of stuff, that's for sure. Okay. I am proud to announce we're down to 2 or 3 poets. If you are needing some coffee or something from the deli, best deli in La Mesa, please go over there. And now that we have a way to hear what's on Zoom, I'm going to hand this to Alfred, and I'm going to ask Andrew, do you want to read today?
Yeah, I could read. How we're just doing 2, I can do a few. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I'll just go right now.
Yes.
Cool. All right. This first one is called Fetter. Plantation overseers turned CEO. Slave patrol legitimized by uniform. Ministries of mercenaries. Colonists formed coalitions. Nationalism turned NRA. Nuclear bombs replaced the nuclear family. Lobbyists curated governments. Special interest fueled states. Streets made of walls. To the vagabonds goes the spoils. That's just the first one. And then this other one is called Channel Number 5. It's a poem I wrote inspired by Gil Scott Heron's piece called Jose Campos Torres. So this is just like my callback version of it. So yeah, Channel Number 5. I said that I wouldn't bring this up again, but the news outlets and journalists and perpetrators of propaganda are on a separate agenda, reporting on ISIS and blown playoff calls, while inside state walls, Black teens paint the streets of burgundy. I suggested I no longer serve as the lens, but the cameramen are too busy chewing the cultural bubble gum, keeping up with the Kardashians as middle-class homes are foreclosed and infants suck the milk from their weeping mother's breast. I swore to stray from this repetition, but as we claim Obama's office has granted progress, Donald Trump's becoming president nears a reality. And I start to taste the sour texture of deja vu in the back of my throat, like the drip of the nastiest drugs that Lady Liberty's been strung on since her first dosage in 1619. I made an oath against being the whistleblower, but brothers, sisters, nephews, and uncles are being hacked fragrantly, and whenever we scream foul, the desensitized and higher-ups look at us sideways and casually say, "Play on," as if we don't know the rules and are simply seeking pity for a member of our team. I'd promised that I wouldn't that I would repair my record, but Gil Scott-Heron is dead, Prince is passed, Cosby is being tried, and the Zulu nation has fallen. I said that I had stopped doing poems like this. It seems I was mistaken. Thank you.
Shoot, cut you a bubble gum. I love that.
Okay, where can I get some of that cultural bubble gum? Man, that was really nice. Thank you for coming. You know, there's an author that said if we're going to make it, thanks for coming, David. If we're going to make it through this time of the amplified hate and ignorance, we got to listen to the youth.
Yep.
That's why I'm glad you're here.
Yep.
And when we listen to the youth, we have a youth perspective. That's really important. That's why I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll come back. We're here every second Sunday. We're only here today because of Super Bowl tomorrow. And so they're going to do a Super Bowl party here.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
We need your voices. When I was a Vietnam veteran against the war coordinator for Central Florida, I call it the whippersnapper syndrome. When I would try to talk to someone who was older about how we needed to end the Vietnam War, and they would just look the other way or they'd walk away. And I know what that feels like. So we need to listen to the youth. We need to listen to you because your perspective is just as needed as ours. Yeah, we have a lot of experience, but we're not fresh anymore. You are. So can we give him some more love, please? Coming, reading.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dan Watman walked up to me when we were doing a demonstration against the Iraqi war in 2002, and he had a megaphone, and he did a cheer, and then I did a cheer, and then he did a cheer, and then he looked at me and he handed me the megaphone. He walked away from me. He wanted to help me with that, and we've been on and off intermittently. We've been making sure we stay in touch with each other. I think his poetry speaks for himself. This is Dan Watman.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be here, everybody. I just have one haiku and then one poem. See how it goes. This one's called Haiku Dream for the Borderlands. The walls become leaves, the smokestacks towering trees, and the people free. And the other poem is called, I'm going to do it in Spanish and then in English. It's called No sé por qué te beso. I don't know why I kiss you. No sé por qué te beso por la tarde. No sé por qué te beso por la mañana. No sé por qué te beso por todas partes de Tijuana. Desde la cabeza hasta las 5:10, no sé por qué te subo las colinas del Cerro Colorado para besarte encima. No sé por qué me deslizo por la vía rápida a 2000, al río, no sé por qué, a la mar nos lleva al chaparral. Siento el aliento de la boca al mar, que no sé por qué nos jala por la línea aguantándonos en el precipicio. No sé por qué te empujo con un beso al final. Nos caemos amortiguados al jardín binacional, donde nos amamos entre las amapolas. I don't know why I kiss you. I don't know why I kiss you in the morning. I don't know why I kiss you in the evening. I don't know why I kiss you all over Tijuana. From head to the 5 and 10 area. I don't know why I climb the hills of the Red Mountain to kiss you at the top. I don't know why I slide down the fast track at 2000 to the I don't know why upon loving each other river that takes us to the Chaparral point of entry. I don't know why the river mouth breath that opens to the sea pulls us along the line, barely holding to the ledge. I don't know why I push you over with a kiss and we fall softly into the binational garden where we love among the poppies.
Dan, we have a request for you to repeat the haiku, please.
Okay. I should have it memorized, but here it goes. I'll find it. It's called Haiku Dream for the Borderlands. The walls become leaves, the smokestacks towering trees, and the people free.
Abrazos, hermano. Gracias. Hasta mañana.
Gracias a ti.
Well, you know about Sue Taylor. You know about her radio show. I think it's time that you hear her poetry. Sue, we have 2 poems or 5 minutes. Come on up.
I love to see these faces here. I call them the poetic cherubs. No, that wasn't the word I was looking for. I think it was. Or the po-bubs. So this one I just wrote just now, so it's without revision, but Adam, you had a part in my writing this. Listen up, young man. I'm an English teacher. Okay. Poets converse in hushed voices, but recite in intonated shouts. Write with steel nails on corrugated sheets of outrage. Poets are generous and honest. They have normal names: Christopher, Joe, Jim, Pam, Mary. Black, white, red, and underneath they bleed and feel pain. Adam, a young poet, says, I want to make her happy. That's enough to make him a poet. And then a friend of mine who paints beautifully texted me with the word trichromatic. I thought that was a pretty cool word. So I wrote this poem called Colorful People. Colorful people. Dull people are monochromatic, or at best, different shades of gray. Give me the trichromatic people: yellow, orange, teal, gold, metallic, white. Unable to blend into jungles and color-blocked mod London streets. They're at home in Nollings at Mardi Gras, by the riverbanks in Boston. Hip baby, hipster web designers eating pita bread and mango cilantro hummus at the farmer's market. You see them in Costco on Sundays, ironically, eating sample frozen taquitos. They buy coarse Hawaiian shirts, and all the teachers wear them to school on Monday. Multichromatic people find Chinese preschools for their kids. Red enamel pencil holders, golden fringed lanterns. They listen to jazz and blues, book vacations to Casablanca in July, dive in Galapagos seas, knit rainbow chokers for pink poodles. They write poetry, My America, read Vietnamese cookbooks, tutor Armenian immigrants who work at Google and want to understand Icelandic metaphors. Tri and multichromatic people wear teal eyeshadow, hang baskets of fuchsias, donate to radical causes, lock up their neighbors' guns, hike in Nepal, marry Sherpas, and take pictures of tufted-hatted Peruvian kids. Colorful people dress, talk, write, paint. Find the tequila at quinceañeras. and ride mountain buses in Latvia. Land nose first in Juneau. You, all of you, are invited to the electric picnic on purple paisley pillows. Please wear a lei of plumerias and bring orange gazanias. The electric picnic afternoons under the overreaching sycamore just down the street. Thank you.
Gee, after I heard that, I wanted to say Sally sells seashells by the seashore and Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Do you know what that poetic device is?
Alliteration.
Now I remember it's not poetic cherubs, it's radical cherubs. You could call them rad bugs.
That's Sue Taylor. Can we give her some love, please? When Jimmy was alive, and I would watch how he was leading this, he would say, not in so many words, that second Sunday Jimmy poetry is about all races, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you. You are safe here. You are safe here.
All ages.
And all ages, thank you. Yes, definitely all ages. So we have this tradition here that if you haven't had enough and you want to hang around a little bit, Alfred's going to be saving this. Well, it'll be on the internet in a few days. You'll see it. We'll post it. And you'll get to see your poems. But we just kind of hang out. And if you want to use some more stuff from the deli, please do. Get some coffee, whatever. But we encourage you to talk. If you heard a poem you like, you want to talk to somebody, you want to talk to them about their influences, that's what we do. We just hang out. And so this is our last poem for the day.
Let me give a shout out to the soy cappuccino.
All right. Nikki Giovanni went to University of West Virginia and said, I have this young man who's too angry to be in my class. I kicked him out. He needs help. Get him help. He needs counseling. And they ignored her. And the young man came on campus one day and killed a lot of people. And he just needed help. And now he's going to be locked up for a long time. And we have that loss of life. So Nikki Giovanni wrote a poem in praise of a teacher. And I'm looking at the people who have been here today. I know you're teachers, you're in the helping professions, you're young, but you're teaching already. And so this is a poem for you. The reason Miss Delaney was my favorite teacher, not just my favorite English teacher, is that she would let me read any book I wanted and would allow me to report on it. I had the pleasure of reading The Scapegoat, as well as We the Living, as well as Silver Spoon, which was about a whole bunch of rich folk who were unhappy, and Defender of the Damned, which was about Clarence Darrow, which led me into Native Son, because the real case was defended by Darrow, though in Native Son, he got the chair, despite the fact that Darrow never lost the client to the chair, including Leopold and Loeb, who killed Bobby Frank. Native Son led me to 8 Men and all the rest of Richard Wright. But I preferred Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes. At that time, and Gwendolyn Brooks and I did reports on both of them, I always loved English because whatever human beings are, we are storytellers. It is our stories that give a light to the future. When I went to college, I became a history major because history is such a wonderful story of who we think we are. English is much more a story of who we really are. It was, after all, Miss Delaney who introduced the class to my candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night, but my foes and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light. And I thought, yes, poetry is the main line. English is the train. God bless you. We'll see you next month. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'm gonna turn
Thank
this
you.
off.
First Sunday.
Thank you.
Second
Thank
Sunday
you.
in
Gracias.
March. Yes. Second Sunday. Come on out. Come on
Good night,
down.
everybody.
3:00.
Good night. Thank you.
Peace.
Oh, Pam Ward. Let's get Pam Ward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was fun. You guys are really good poets.
Not in
Say that again,
comparison.
so Alfred can hold it up to the laptop and we can hear you.
Oh, I said you guys are really good poets. I enjoyed the reading and the open mic. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Pam. We'll be here next March, second Sunday, and on Zoom. I hope we do a better job with the audio, but we worked it out. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.